Alright, we live. We should be live. Alright, we live. Welcome back everybody. I had to redo this. This reading. I screwed that up. It didn't cut off my mic. So we gonna start back over again. I have to literally redo this entire thing. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I have to redo this entire thing. This entire thing's messed up. But regardless, I still had fun reading this stuff, so we gonna just take the loss for what it is. Took a break. Took your boy. But we gonna keep going. Is it? Oh yeah, right. Share the screen. Let me try and hop into this before we don't waste too much time. Um, Again, this is the analysis and assessment of the gateway process. Um, Here we go. Last we left off, it was 30 with advanced techniques. So just to hop back in. Hold on, I need some water because these long sentences, bro. I'm not an English major, but ain't some of these sentences run-ons? But I digress. I digress. Do 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 do. So are we talking? Is it still registering? All right. We about to hop in. We already 2 minutes in. Without further ado, uh, 30 advanced techniques. Having reached focus 10, the participant is now ready to endeavor to achieve a state of sufficiently expanded awareness to begin actually interacting with dimensions beyond those associated with his experience of physical reality. This state is called Focus 12 and involves conscious efforts on his part while additional forms of pink and white noise enter the sound stream being directed into his ears from the gateway tape. Pink and white. What about blue noise? What's blue noise? Once the participant has achieved this state of greatly expanded awareness, he is ready to begin employing a series of specific techniques or tools, as the Monroe Institute characterizes them, which enable him to manipulate his newly found expanded awareness to obtain practical, useful feedback of value for promoting self discovery and personal growth. The specific techniques involved are described individually below. A. Problem solving. Problem solving. Um, this technique involves identifying fundamental problems which the individual wishes to see solved, filling his expanded awareness with his perception of these problems, and then projecting them out into the universe. In this way, the individual enlists the assistance of what Monroe Institute calls his higher self. In other words, his expanded consciousness to interact with the universal hologram to obtain the information required to solve the problem. This approach may be used to solve personal difficulties, technical problems in the realm of physics and mathematics, etc. There was no and between that. I messed that up. Practical administrative problems and so on. Responses to the problem solving technique may be received almost immediately, but often they come based on developing intuition over the next 2-3 days. Frequently, the response comes in the form of a sudden holistic perception in which the individual suddenly finds that he simply knows the answer in all of its ramifications and completely in context, sometimes without even being able to put his newly found perception into words, at least initially. In some cases, the response may even arrive in the form of visual symbols which the individual will see with his mind while he is in the focus 12 state, which he will have to interpret after he returns to the normal consciousness. Bet you can probably draw it out though. Draw them shapes. I am at a loss for words. That's what the people mean by that. Words cannot describe what I've been feeling right now. We're gonna go to B, patterning. Um, patterning. Patterning. This technique involves the use of the consciousness to achieve desired objectives in the physical, emotional, or intellectual sphere. It involves concentration on the desired objective while in a focus 12 state. Extension of the individual's perception of that objective into the whole expanded consciousness, and its projection into the universe, which with the intention that the desired objective is already a matter of established achievement which is destined to be realized within the time frame specified. This particular methodology is based on the belief that the patterns generated by a consciousness in a state of expanded awareness creates holograms which represent the situation we desire to bring about, and in so doing establish the basis for actual realization of that goal. Apologies. Once the thought generated hologram of the sought after objective is established in the universe, it becomes an aspect of reality which interacts with the universal hologram to bring about the desired objective, which might not, under other circumstances, even occur. In other words, the technique of patterning recognizes the fact that since consciousness is the source, apologies. In other words, the technique of patterning recognizes the fact that since consciousness is the source of all reality, our thoughts have the power to influence the development of reality in time space as it applies to us if those thoughts can be projected with adequate intensity. However, the more complicated the objective sought and the more radically it departs from reality, our current reality, the more universal, the more time the universal hologram will need to reorient our reality sphere to accommodate our desires. Monroe trainers caution against attempting to force the pace of this process because the individual could succeed in dislocating his existing reality with drastic consequences. Interesting. C. Color breeding. Mm, try them out. C. Color breathing. The next technique is called color breathing and is designed to use the expanded awareness and highly focused attentiveness associated with the Focus 12 state to imagine various colors in a particularly intense and vivid manner so as to use them to resonate with and in turn to activate the body's own energies. Fundamentally, in terms of practical application, it is a healing technique which is designed to restore the body and to enhance its physical capabilities of balancing, revitalizing, and returning bodily energy flows. It is predicated on the principle that the body's electromagnetic field is capable of altering its resonance pattern so as to entrain energy from the Earth's electrostatic field for its own use. The various colors envisioned emphasized in the imagination as as part of the technique cue the mind as to which frequencies and what specific amplitudes are desired in connection with this entrainment, and the subsequent alterations in bodily energy flow patterns. That color has the capacity to affect the human mind as we know it. It and the effectuality of color in certain kinds of healing is a demonstrable fact. For example, the application of an intense blue light in an area of physical tumescence leads to relatively rapid and easily observable reduction in the swelling, while red and to a lesser extent, yellow have a quite the opposite effect. However, in the hemisync application of the technique, external light sources are not involved, but rather the mind is the sole agent of the healing and revitalization. D. The energy bar tool. Magic wands and enchanted scepters have been part of the folklore and occult practices of many cultures. The scepters, staffs, and maces carried by monarchs and high priests alike occur with such frequency in the history of bygone eras that as to suggest that at the very least these items are aspect of some type of archetypical symbol, archetypical symbol which the human mind seems to appreciate, perhaps quite subliminally. In any case, the energy bar tool technique involves emphasizing a small, intensely pulsating dot of light which the participant charges into his imagination with enormous energy until it is virtually pulsating. The participant then extrudes the dot into the shape of sparkling, vibrating cylinder of energy which he then uses to channel a force from the universe to selected parts of his body or purposes of healing and revitalization. Remote viewing. In addition, sorry, E, remote viewing. In addition, the energy bar tool is used as a portal for initiating a follow-on technique called remote viewing. In this context, the participant turns his bar of energy into a whirling vortex through which he sends his imagination in search of new and illuminating insights. The apparent purpose of the symbolism involved in the vortex seems to be to cue the subconscious and convey it to to it. Oh shoot! The apparent purpose of the symbolism involved in the vortex seems to be to cue the subconscious and convey to it instructions as to what the participant wishes to do, but in terms of nonverbal symbols which the right hemisphere of the mind is capable of understanding. Now we in the F, living body. This technique provides F, the living body map. This technique provides amplification or for application of the energy bar tool as a means of healing specific areas or systems of the human body. The configuration of the participant's body is imagined, and then the various major systems as to the nervous system. I don't know why I keep messing this up, bro. The configuration of the participant's body is imagined, and then the various major systems, such as the nervous and circulatory systems, are envisaged in the appropriate colors within the confines of the outline being held in the imagination. The energy bar tool is then applied to energizing, balancing, and healing in whatever manner the participant desires. In the process, the participant visualizes various streams of colored energy flowing out of the tool into the organ system or area upon which the revitalizing or healing application is being made. Since colors are the result of differing wavelengths of light, which is to say, energy at various frequencies, this technique operates on the assumption that as the human body is composed of energy, it can be vitalized and healed through the additive application of additional energy, provided that the energy is applied in the appropriate form. G. Focus 15. Travel into the past. All of the preceding techniques are conducted at the level of expanded awareness known as Focus 12. However, the technique of time travel into the past involves further expansion of consciousness through the inclusion of additional levels of sound on the hemisync tapes. Some of the sound is probably merely an intensification of the basic hemisync frequencies being designed to further modify brainwave frequency and amplitude. Other aspects of the added sound patterns appear to be designed to provide subtle, almost subliminal suggestions to the mind as to what is desired by way of further expanded consciousness as to support the verbal suggestions and instructions also contained on the tape. Even the instructions are highly symbolic, which time being visualized as a huge wheel in the universe, which various spokes of each even the instructions are very symbolic with time. Oh my goodness. Even the instructions are highly symbolic, with time being visualized as a huge wheel in the universe, which various spokes, each of which gives access to a different part of the participant's past. Focus 15 is a very advanced state and is extremely difficult to achieve. Probably less than 5% of all participants in any given gateway experience actually fully achieved the Focus 15 state during the course of the approximately 7 days of training. Nonetheless, Monroe Institute trainers affirm that with enough practice, eventually Focus 15 can be achieved. They also state that not only the individual's past history is available for examination by one who has achieved Focus 15, but other aspects of the past with which the individual himself has had no connection may also be accessed. H, Focus 21, the future. I'm sorry. The last and most advanced of all the focus states associated with the Gateway training program involves movement outside of the boundaries of time-space, as in Focus 15, but with attention to discovering the future rather than the past. The individual who has achieved this state has reached a truly advanced level. Except in unusual circumstances, it is probably not attainable except by those who have conditioned themselves through long application of meditation or by those who have practiced long enough and hard enough to use the hemisync tapes for a period of months, if not years. So that was the advanced techniques on 30 with the hemisync technique. Cool stuff. We're gonna go ahead and stop. And wow, that was only 18 minutes. Nice. That's what happens when you just shut up and read, right? All right, I'm gonna come back. See, kind of review this and see how this looks, sounds, and later. Nada nada.